Charisma costs blood. Ultimately, that's the price, okay? Not money, not a seminar fee per se. Ultimately, you're going to pay for it with your ego, your comfort, and quite possibly your reputation. That's the price. If everybody's cheering you on and clapping for you, then quite frankly, you probably never said anything real. Because the very second that you stop playing nice, people are going to show you who they really are. Charisma, it don't make you popular. It makes you polarizing. So if you're not ready to be potentially hated, then you're not ready to be seen, period. I once drove a van around San Francisco that made people either love me or absolutely despise me. I got banned from the entire continent of Australia. Why? Because I thought it was cool and I genuinely didn't give a fuck what anybody thought. My behavior, my antics, if you will, they made me a legend to some people and this like notorious villain to others. But I was having the time of my fucking life doing it. Through every scandal, all these controversies, blah, 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 I was having a fucking blast. Real charisma isn't about being safe, okay? It's ultimately, it's about paying the price. The praise, the accolades, the applause, and the hatred, all of that, those are the receipts, okay? So this is not another tips video. It is an invoice. I'm here to show you the bill and how you can pay it tonight. Most superficial charisma advice out there, I would say it's misleading at best, and at worst, it's malicious social conditioning that's designed to keep you obedient and marketable. Okay, some like HR-approved Halloween mask bullshit. Real charisma requires you to brutally dismantle all validation-seeking behavior inside of you, all fear of uncertainty of how people will react. Real charisma, it forces you to move without permission. Okay, to talk without the safety net of applause. It is an act of spiritual violence against that internal simulation that's running in your head, that little script that says, don't offend anybody, don't stand out. That's why on day one of boot camp, I redefine what the metrics of success for the students, okay? Success is not whether the other person liked it, whether they smiled, they laughed, gave you their number, whatever. Success is simply one thing. Did you take action? Did you break the inertia? Were you able to put your energy out there? Like, boom, raw, unfiltered, instead of just, sitting silently up against the wall with your drink pressed up against your fucking chest all night. Charisma, it doesn't reward the people who wait for permission to take action. It rewards the ones who fucking explode, okay? Fortune favors the bold. Back when I was driving what I lovingly called the consensual sex in the missionary position for the sole purpose of reproduction van, it had this big mural on the side featuring a highly detailed rendition of the Twin Towers with Never Forget, Tupac Shakur, Bill Clinton, Eazy-E, and then a giant American flag with big block letters that said, "Freedom isn't free," misspelled on purpose. Sort of a satire of dumbass middle American platitudes. Now, to be fair, it was also genuinely patriotic. But, I just thought the shit was fucking hilarious. I thought it was mine. The world, however, thought otherwise. The van, it triggered headlines, outrage, people piling on. It polarized people instantly. Half these people were like, this guy's fucking hilarious. Half was like, I hope this guy dies. And, those words, freedom isn't free, turned out to be a little prophetic because freedom, as I were to find, was in fact not free. Every single ounce of aliveness came with blood on the bill, okay? Bans, backlash, infamy. And yes, of course, a lot of unforgettable romantic nights in that van. 132 to be exact. That was my tuition. That was my payment into the ledger. So charisma, like I said, has a price. It don't come clean. It's always going to leave a trail, okay, of lovers, of enemies, of people who will never, ever forget you, for better or worse. Motherfuckers lost their minds over that van. Why? Because it was deliberately mocking society's like social scripts and unspoken rules. To the people who admired it, the fans, it was like ultimate freedom. That's what it represented. Freedom on wheels. like a real rejection of conformity, punk fucking rock, a willingness to embrace your true self no matter what the cost, right? I was embodying something that maybe they kind of secretly wanted but felt too constrained or afraid to go after. But for other people, what did the van represent? A disregard for social norms that was very threatening. It was like shaking up, disrupting their comfortable reality, and it directly challenged their beliefs about how people should behave, right? To these people, that unapologetic authenticity, it was dangerous. It was chaotic. It was fucking heresy. You know, this intense polarization, you see this happen all through society whenever somebody genuinely breaks away from societal expectations, right? Admirers, they're going to see courage, freedom, authenticity. The fucking haters, they're going to see recklessness, immorality, chaos. This extreme reaction, whether it's positive or negative, is exactly why genuine charisma is powerful, okay? It doesn't allow people to stay numb. It drags their fears. It drags their desires out into the open. It makes them choose which side they're on. You know, watching this very video, you're feeling that split inside of yourself right now. One part wants to stay safe and weak. The other's sick of fucking hiding and just wishes you could do this kind of stuff. You could be free. Follow that second voice. Click the link in the description. Book a call. 8 weeks mentoring, 3 days out on boot camp. We take this out of theory land and we take it and drill it into your nervous system with rejection drills, frame battles, full chaos immersion until you get free. Okay? This is not an expense. It's literally the only investment that actually pays back in every part of life. Money, respect, connection, gravity. Because if you don't act right now, that mask is just going to calcify more. The window is going to close and you stay invisible. Click the link, book a call, show up. And when you do, here's the build that's going to be waiting for you, okay? Let's go through it line by line. First, you got to kill that persona that you've been hiding behind. That's that safe, likable mask. It's a fucking coffin. Right now, you're buried alive in it. Every time you second guess yourself before you speak or hesitate socially before you go, it's another nail in that fucking coffin. Your LinkedIn bio is the cage. Second line item on the bill, you got to face social death, humiliation. You're going to be rejected, misunderstood. You will be mocked. You know, it's kind of the point. Every no that you get is proof that you're finally alive. Think of rejection as cardio for the soul. Third, you must choose aliveness over approval. This is huge. You got to stop waiting for the nod of permission. You move first. You speak first. You take the fucking risk. Fourth, you must mentally prepare yourself for a period of let's call it existential drift. There's a valley between the mask, okay, that polite character that you are going to kill, and the actual presence that you haven't fully become yet. Look, I've been through that process. Everyone who gets good has. And that intermediate period, you know, when you're kind of ditching the old self and stepping into the new empowered one, it's very strange. It's very weird. All right. It feels like nothingness. Like you're in kind of a free fall. Like, what's going on? Who am I? What's happening? People around you notice too. You know, most people, the second they get a whiff of that, they kind of panic and they just crawl back to safety. So this is why you got to have emotional leverage. That's going to enable you to slog through the pain period until the new self actually arrives and comes fully into power. Fifth, you have to transcend your addiction to meaning. You got to quit demanding that your life makes sense. Okay, like good old Eckhart Tolle said, presence is the reward. You know, just breathing, laughing, broadcasting into the void. That's charisma. You know, all of this stuff, all these 5 things I just talked about, that's the invoice for charisma. But once you've paid it, that's when, you know, the room starts adjusting to you. And again, you're not going to be able to think your way into this. You're not going to be able to logic your way into this. You got to train it into your nervous system. And that's why boot camp is fucking brutal. It is by design. You know, we throw you straight into chaos so your body learns viscerally what your brain has been avoiding. There's a lot of different drills we do on the boot camp. One drill, it's just I teach people catch and shoot. You catch the ball, you shoot the ball. You see someone you want to talk to, you go. You see, you go. No hesitation. Get that interim time between the time you see someone you want to speak to and the time you go as close to zero as possible. No hesitation, no bargaining with yourself, no waiting for the right vibe, okay? There is an inertia to action and an inertia to inaction. Every time that you hesitate, you suffocate. Every time you move first, you get to breathe. Another drill we do is the laugh ritual. You get a blowout, you fucking laugh. Like out loud, hard. Not as some cover up for the pain, but as a ritual. Like every rejection becomes a repetition. You stop seeing no as failure. You start seeing it as proof you're alive. It's just fucking hilarious. Okay? Like, dude, you hear what that you just said to me? It's fucking hilarious. Anyway, what's next? Right? That is the gospel. Freedom from outcome. If you're still like chasing after applause, you're a fucking slave. If you can laugh in the face of no, you're freer than most people. Self-amusement over validation, always. If you're amusing yourself first, if you're chasing after, their laugh, their approval, you're already fucking done. This isn't about looking good, okay? It's about being real. Right fucking now, even when people don't reward you for it. Especially then. Because here is a fucking fact. A fact. The best get rejected the most. Point blank, period. The people getting the most success are also getting rejected the most. And that's why they're fucking legends. Charisma does not mean rejection disappears. It's the absence of rejection. No, charisma is the sheer volume of it. The best, when everyone else quit after 10 no's, they pushed through. They pushed through 1,000 no's. And they came out on the other end with fucking superpowers. At least that's what it looks like to normies. On boot camp, I see it every weekend. Myself, the assistant coaches that I go out with, hell, even the student who struggled at first, who gets like the instant makeout or pulls out some, wild fucking pull at the end of the night after some crazy interaction, you didn't see the 15 blowouts before it. You didn't see these guys getting laughed at, waved off, no, thank you, no, thank you, in front of everybody. And yet, because they kept moving, they found the one that hit. That's the price, okay? Every rejection that gets paid down, that's what makes the success stick. Charisma, it's not built on wins. It's built on surviving losses so many fucking times you stop being afraid of them. And that's when shit gets crazy. Because look, the simulation, it does not reward authenticity. In fact, it punishes it. That backlash, that is confirmation that you're finally kind of hitting the frequency of charisma. That is why destruction of the false self matters. You burn the mask instead of continuing to polish it and make it better and more presentable. No, that's why presence over persona is non-negotiable. You broadcast aliveness instead of performing confidence, quote unquote. That's why you need controlled madness, like that little dose of unpredictability that breaks people out of their autopilot responses. And that's why you got to like live the thesis. Show the fucking proof in real life, not just in theory. The simulation only respects those people that refuse to be digested by it. And when it tries to spit you back out, what does that mean? Well, it means quite frankly, you're real enough to be dangerous. And in a dying empire, that's the only real charisma that counts anymore. All right, so here's what's up. You either pay the price or you just fade away into nothingness. Okay? There is no middle ground, no someday, no maybe later. You already know what's up. You already know what's happening. The mask is not saving you. It's not fucking saving you. It's killing you slowly. Every year you wait to address this, you get a little safer, a little dumber, a little more dead inside. So the real question is this: how much more fucking dead do you have to become before you finally move? Click the link in the description. Book the call. Let's burn the old self down together, okay? 8 weeks mentoring, 3 days boot camp, okay? This is where hesitation dies and we wire presence into your nervous system. Respect, power, gravity, the ability to walk in and change reality like a lucid dream. That's the return, okay? That's the resurrection. Click it, book it, show up. Let's do it, okay? It's your boy Jeffy, and I'll see you next time.
My name is Jason. I'm 34 years old. I actually took 3 boot camps with Jeffy. Totally life-changing. I pulled on each of the boot camps itself. 5 years of trying to learn something, I learned in 2 or 3 weeks with him. Learning it efficiently doesn't actually require a lot of time. You can learn it very fast. You can learn your exact sticking points, which is what happened to me. This bootcamp will definitely tell you where it is that you're behaving in a shitty way, that you're not even aware of how you're behaving. One of the best investments, one of the best personal investments I've ever done on myself.